Hades, Season 1, Episode 1, Ashes of Kronos. Before he became the lord of the Underworld, Hades was a son, a brother, a god forgotten by the light. Flashback. In a hidden cave deep within the earth, a child named Hades listens to his mother weep. Rhea hides her youngest children from Kronos, their father, the king of the Titans. One by one, Kronos devours each newborn god, afraid of the prophecy that one will overthrow him. But Hades survives, hidden in the shadows, waiting. He was the first to know fear and the first to hate it. Present day, the Titanomachy. Years later, the world is at war. The gods, now grown, have risen against the Titans. Hades fights beside his brothers, Zeus, the Stormbringer, and Poseidon, Lord of Waves. Together, they bring down Kronos in a final devastating blow. The Titan King falls, his time devoured by the children he once feared. The old gods fell screaming into darkness, and the new gods stood in the ash. The division of the cosmos. With victory won, the three brothers stand before Gaia, the earth herself. She offers them fate in the form of 3 lots, domains to rule. Zeus draws the sky. Poseidon claims the sea. And Hades? He opens his hand and sees a single word, below. Not a kingdom, not a throne, a sentence. First descent into the underworld. Alone, Hades descends into the forgotten spaces beneath the world. He finds chaos, rivers that scream, walls that breathe, souls without names. And then, a voice in the dark, Nyx, the goddess of night. You didn't choose this realm, Hades, but it chose you. From the shadows, a creature emerges. 3-headed, barely tamed, Cerberus, the beast bows before him. Even monsters kneel to kings who do not flinch. Olympus before the draw, we flash back, just for a breath. Gaia had warned him, whispered only to Hades, "You will not rule the dead. You will rule what remains after everything else is gone." Hades stands at the edge of the river Styx, alone, watching, Cerberus beside him, silent. A voice whispers from the void, "When gods forget death, death remembers gods." And so the Lord of the Underworld was born. Not in cruelty, but in silence.
Hades, Season 1, Episode 2, Casting Lots. The war was over. The Titans were gone, and so the gods began to divide the world like conquerors. But fate doesn't forget who draws last. Mount Olympus celebration. The gods feast above the clouds. Smoke still clings to their skin from the war. Zeus, glowing with power, makes a toast. Poseidon drinks deeply. Hades watches, quiet, apart. Gaia, ancient and unmoving, interrupts them. She presents a black urn, an urn that holds the fate of the world. 3 domains, 3 brothers. 1 pull each. What's more cruel than choice? A choice that cannot be undone. Drawing of lots, Zeus steps forward. Smiling, he draws the sky. Lightning flares. Poseidon follows. He gets the sea. Storms echo his laugh. Hades? His fingers touch cold stone. He lifts a black shard etched with 1 word. Laughter hides cruelty well, but Hades said nothing. He didn't need to. Flashback, the brothers before war. A memory, years ago. Hades and Poseidon fight side by side, bloodied, bruised, laughing through the chaos. Poseidon, you and me, brother. We could have ruled the sky together. Hades, we will rule, just not together. The laughter fades. The war made them brothers, but peace made them rivals. Olympus balcony. Night Hades stands alone, staring at the stars he no longer owns. Hades, let them have the sea and the sky. I'll take what they leave behind. The descent begins. He turns from Olympus. No one stops him. He walks toward the edge of the known world. A windless cliff, a dark gate, the beginning of below. Nyx's voice drifts in from the shadows. Nyx, you are not lost, Lord Hades. You are being remembered. And so he descended, not as a prisoner, but as a king no one had the courage to crown. Final moments. Ominous flash of Tartarus. As Hades steps into the underworld, we hear something faint, a deep voice, caged in the black. "He comes, the one with silent steps." Chains rattle in the dark. Even the titans below still remember his name.
Hades, Season 1, Episode 3, The River Styx, and beneath the world of mortals, beyond even death, a god walked alone. The sky was gone, the sea was silent, and in the dark, he began to build. The underworld, raw and unformed Hades walks through the void. Nothingness swirls like smoke. Echoes of weeping and whispering souls drift in the air. The underworld had no shape, no name. It was pain, memory, silence, and potential. And Hades creates the rivers. He slices the void with a black blade. Where the blade strikes, water flows backwards. One river burns with fire, another is frozen. One howls with forgotten names. 5 rivers he carved into the bones of the earth, the Styx, the Lethe, the Acheron, the Cocytus, the Phlegathon, each one a wound and a promise. From grief he built boundaries. From rage he built law. Olympus' brief return, Hades stands in a white marble hall, dirt and ash on his cloak. The other gods feast, he is uninvited. Unseen, he speaks. "Hades, the world below breathes. And it remembers you." Zeus raises a brow. Hera looks away. Poseidon's face is unreadable. They laughed when he left. Now they feared what he might become. First meeting with Nyx again. Nyx reappears, floating above the black rivers. "Nyx, you bleed shape into shadow. That makes you dangerous." "Hades, I want order." "Not fear," she smiles, ancient and cold. "Nyx, then tame what even fear avoids." Cerberus awakens. Deep beneath a jagged cliff, a growl rises. 3 glowing eyes open in the dark, then 6, then 9. Cerberus emerges, 3 heads, massive frame, skeletal armor stitched with shadows. From the pit, he called it. Not a pet, not a beast, but a guardian, made of death's hunger. Hades, softly. Cerberus, the creature lowers its heads. First bond, Hades reaches out. One head snarls, one whines. One leans gently into his hand. The gods above had their eagles, their dolphins, their winged horses. Hades, he had a monster that knew loyalty like no other. Final moments. A warning. Nyx appears again, now watching from above the river Styx. "Nyx, you shape the underworld, but you do not control what sleeps below it. Be careful what hears your footsteps." And in the distance, something stirs in Tartarus, watching, waiting.
Hades, Season 1, Episode 4, Echoes of the Dead. Every god seeks worship, a throne glory, but Hades was given something else. A silence that never ended. The underworld grows, a slow pan through eerie underworld corridors. Rivers now flow with form, obsidian pillars rise. Soul lights flicker like dying stars. But something is wrong, the dead don't rest. They cry, they wander. The dead had arrived, but none knew what came next. Hades creates judgment. Hades sits at a black stone throne, flanked by 3 spectral judges, Minos, Rhadamanthus, and Aeacus. He watches as a soul trembles before him, guilty, desperate. This realm does not punish. It reveals, he nods. The soul is judged. Wind swallows it, peace or torment. No cruelty, only truth. Hades did not play God. He became what even the gods feared. Fair. Orpheus descends. A mortal with a silver lyre walks down into the mist. His name is Orpheus. His heart, broken. He falls to his knees before Hades. Orpheus, give her back to me. Please, Hades. Death is not a door you walk out of. It is a truth. Orpheus, then let me sing a new one. Love does not beg the heavens. It sings into the dark and hopes something listens. Hades watches, mortals above. Hades rises to the surface in disguise, hidden in a mortal crowd at a funeral. A woman weeps over a pyre. Priests speak of Hades the devourer. Priest, pray your soul never sees his face. Hades' eyes narrow. He had brought order to death, but the living only knew him as fear. A flashback, the first soul, a golden field. A young man dies by accident, the first mortal to perish. He awakens confused in the underworld. Hades kneels before him, unsure of what to say. No throne, no power, just presence. It was not the screams Hades remembered. It was the quiet, when the first soul asked, "Am I still me?" The name, Eurydice, echoes. As Orpheus sings to Persephone's shade, her name drifts through the underworld like perfume. A flower blooms near Persephone's resting place. She opens her eyes, briefly. Orpheus, singing. Let her breathe where spring once touched her feet. And for the first time in the underworld, a song was heard.
Hades, Season 1, Episode 5, The Seed and the Spring. Before she was queen of the underworld, Persephone danced in sunlight. Open fields in Eleusis, flowers blooming as she walks, laughter from local girls in the distance. She was life in motion, daughter of Demeter, goddess of the harvest. But the earth was not enough for her. Something in her wanted more than blossoms, more than the path laid before her. A Persephone alone at the edge of the grove. So one day she walked beyond the fields, beyond what her mother allowed. And there, watching from the shadow of a cypress tree, was Hades. Hades, cloaked in gray, half in darkness, silently watching her with a curious intensity. He had risen to the surface not for war, not for worship, but for silence. And she broke it. The glance. She saw him, and she did not scream. Instead, she held his gaze. And for a moment, neither of them moved. A black flower blooms between them, a symbol, a seed. It was not love yet, but it was not nothing. And Demeter's suspicion. Demeter, far away, felt something shift. The warmth of the season dimmed, by a single degree. Demeter surrounded by vines, her eyes narrowing as clouds gather. She had warned her daughter, the gods below do not walk the fields of spring. But fate does, and fate had begun to move. By aftermath, two worlds divided, he left without a word. She stayed without answers, but both of them carried something from the meeting. A thought, a hunger, a door that could not be closed. Persephone kneels near the dark flower. Plucks it, keeps it. Two shots side by side. Hades returning to the underworld, standing alone beside the Styx. Persephone in her grove, looking at the black flower in her hand. Spring had touched shadow, and shadow had touched spring.
Hades, Episode 6, Blood from Stone. Mortals were never meant to cheat death. But in the dark corners of the earth, they tried. A ruined temple. Hooded figures chant in bloodlit circles. Bones on stone, fire flickers unnaturally. A necromantic cult rises, worshipping forgotten titans. Calling back the dead without judgment, without balance. A death-rejected corpses rise, half-formed, confused, and violent. They raised the dead, but not their memories. Not their peace, only fragments. Rage, ghosts of ghosts. When souls reject their journey, they tear holes in the world. The veil between worlds flickers, the river Styx trembles. Hades returns to the surface. Hades emerges from a shadow in the mortal world. Cloak rippling like smoke, eyes burning. And so Hades rose, not as king, not as brother, but as vengeance in human shape. He walks through the cult's lair. The fires die in his presence. He did not speak, he did not warn. A wave of shadow crashes through the room, the cult screams. Hades, calm, deadly. You think death is silence, but it has rules, and you broke them. Hermes intervenes. Hermes appears midair, golden and fast, stepping between Hades and the last cultist. Hermes, you're not supposed to come up here with fury in your veins. Hades, then tell them to stop playing gods. The psychopomp and the king stare each other down. Not enemies, not allies. Two sides of the same law. Persephone's dream. Persephone sleeps in her grove. Her dream bleeds black. Far away, Persephone dreams. She walks through fields where flowers bloom from bones. She sees herself in a crown. One half gold, one half ash. Her hand reaches out. Black petals fall from her fingers. She wakes and cannot remember the dream, only the feeling that she is changing. The soul that spoke back. One soul in the underworld resists judgment, screaming, crying, and deep below, a soul refuses to kneel. It whispers a name long forgotten, one even the gods fear to speak. Cracks form in the stone beneath Tartarus. Something ancient moves. Something is waking beneath the underworld, and death alone cannot hold it. Hades, Episode 7, The Abduction. Fate is not a storm. It does not strike all at once, it waits. And when the moment is right, it blooms. Persephone walking through golden fields, her hand brushing tall flowers. Persephone wandered beyond her mother's sight again, not out of rebellion, but longing. The grove meeting. A sacred grove under the moonlight. Persephone alone. Hades appears from shadow. This time he did not hide, and she did not run. They speak, softly, hesitant. Persephone. Why do you wear the dark like armor? Hades. Because no one ever gave me light. They talked, for hours, about stars, about choices, about what it means to be seen, truly seen. The choice. Persephone lifts a strange fruit, a black pomegranate. It hums. He did not ask her to follow, but he opened the gate. She steps forward, the wind shifts. Time slows. It wasn't kidnapping. It wasn't surrender. It was a step into power. Persephone eats the seeds, her eyes widen. Lightning cracks far away. 6 seeds, 6 months. A bond sealed before she knew what it meant. Demeter's wrath. Demeter kneels in a ruined field. Crops wither, the sky dims. Demeter felt it, not the act, but the silence. The sun no longer obeyed her. The earth cried out. She screamed, and the world withered. Snow falls in spring. Mortals starve, fields crack. Olympus trembles, Demeter to Zeus. Bring her back, or everything dies. Cerberus unleashed. At the gate of the underworld, Demeter's wild nature spirits attack. Finds monsters, spirits of root and flame. She raised an army not of men, but of the world itself. Hades steps forward, alone, then whistles, deep growl. The ground trembles. Cerberus emerges, 3 heads. One body, all fury. Cerberus charges, fire from one head, venom from another, shadows from the third. He was not just a guardian. He was the price of pushing a king too far. Zeus intervenes. Thunder crashes. Zeus descends furious. Zeus, enough! We do not burn the world to fix a wound. He demands a truce, but only one voice matters now. Persephone steps forward between gods. Persephone, I am not a prisoner. I am the queen of what comes after. And the world holds its breath. Hades. Episode 8, Pomegranate. The world was dying. Not by fire, not by war, but by absence, because the goddess of life was missing. Mortals starving, snow and spring, cracked rivers. Demeter on her knees, begging the sky. Demeter refused the harvest, refused the world until her daughter was returned. Autumn, the trial on Olympus. Zeus stands before Demeter and Hades in Olympus. The gods watch. Zeus, we are not mortals. We do not beg, we balance. Demeter, then restore what was stolen. Persephone steps forward, calm, powerful, changed. Persephone, I wasn't stolen, I chose. And now, I choose again. The gods watched, the world waited. And fate whispered, let her speak. The seeds of choice. Persephone holds the black pomegranate. She eats the 6th seed. 1 seed per month, 6 seeds. 6 months, Hades watches in awe, not triumphant, humbled. Persephone, I will walk 2 realms. 6 months with the living, 6 with the dead, and I will be queen to both. Not a prisoner, not a bride. A balance. Crowning of the queen, the underworld throne. Persephone sits beside Hades, the dead bow. In a place of silence, she brought rhythm. Flowers bloom in the underworld, the dead dance, the rivers calm, and the gods above felt something new, a queen who answered to no one but herself. The prophecy, the Moirai, the fates, stand spinning their golden thread. One thread turns black. Fate 1, the seeds have been eaten. Fate 2, but the world has only tasted the skin. Fate 3, whispers. When gods forget death, death will remember them. Deep in Tartarus, something massive stirs. Cracks form in the walls. Eyes open in the dark. Beneath the underworld, something that even Hades buried begins to breathe. A flaming silhouette, Typhon, god of monsters, chained, waking. Season 2. Coming soon, Queen of Ash. King of storm, monster below.